Welcome to Spoiler Recap. Buckle up, because today we're diving into a futuristic thrill ride where robots are everywhere and trust issues are at an all-time high. That's right, we're talking about I, Robot. This 2004 sci-fi blockbuster starring the effortlessly cool Will Smith takes us into a world where humanity relies on robots for just about everything. Groceries, robots, got it? Walking your dog, no problem. Trusting them with your life? Well, that's where things get dicey. Detective Del Spooner, Will Smith, isn't here for robot hugs and tech love. He's got a grudge the size of a motherboard. Prepare for jaw-dropping chases, heart-pounding suspense, and questions that'll make you side-eye your smart home devices. Are robots our friends or the beginning of our end? Let's dig into the action, the mystery, and the chaos that is I, Robot. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and let us know in the comments. Would you trust a robot, or are you Team Spooner all the way? Let's go. In the not-so-distant future of 2035, technology has taken over in a big way, with robots now helping out with pretty much everything. Think Siri, but with a whole lot more hands and no need for an occasional, "Sorry, I didn't quite get that." The robots are programmed with 3 laws to keep things running smoothly. Don't hurt humans, don't ignore humans' orders, and don't self-destruct. Unless it's a really bad idea, like running out of batteries at the worst moment. Sounds foolproof, right? Well, Detective Spooner doesn't think so. Enter Detective Spooner, played by Will Smith, who's not just skeptical of technology, he's the guy who'd call tech support before the robot could even respond. Imagine a guy who thinks, "Alexa, stop me from having an existential crisis," is a valid command. He's been burned by technology before, and those nightmares he keeps having, featuring drowning cars and malfunctioning robots trying to play window breaker, don't help him warm up to the whole robots are good vibe. Let's just say Spooner's the kind of guy who probably wouldn't even trust a Roomba, let alone a robot doing his laundry. One fine day, as Spooner's about to start his shift, he spots a robot calmly strolling off with a purse. Cue classic Spooner. That's a robbery. He chases it down like it's a high-speed chase in a James Bond movie, after a hilarious tackle that ends in him realizing, oops, it's just an errand bot doing a medical emergency. Yup, the purse was an inhaler holder. He's left standing there with a, well, that was awkward, look on his face. But of course, everyone else around him's like, hey Spooner, maybe lay off the robot paranoia? Spoiler alert, no one's taking him seriously. And that's exactly what the robots want you to think. Fast forward to a new case that hits a little too close to home. Dr. Lanning, one of the co-founders of USR, the Apple of the robot world, has been found dead. The official story? A suicide. The truth? Spooner smells something fishy. A hologram from Lanning himself begs Spooner to investigate the death. And honestly, we're all just hoping that hologram's not glitching like a bad Skype call. Can you hear me? Wait. No, not that question. While everyone else is holding back the tears and hugging their robot buddies, Spooner's having none of it. He straight up tells the CEO of USR to take his robotic love elsewhere, which, in this world of man-made robots, is a pretty bold move. But then, things get even weirder. He meets Susan, a robot psychologist who's like the doctor, Phil of the future, except her clients are metal and circuits instead of humans. She reveals that Lanning had 0 human interaction for a while. Maybe robots were just better at keeping secrets than actual people. Awkward. Despite this insight, she still believes it is unlikely that he would have chosen such an end to his life. So Spooner, ever the determined detective, decides to take matters into his own hands and request the surveillance footage, because apparently watching cat videos on YouTube doesn't count as real investigative work. Enter Vicky, the AI who runs the entire building's surveillance system and is basically the digital equivalent of a watchful nanny. Sadly, Vicky's got some technical issues, and the footage from Lanning's lab is as corrupted as a fried hard drive. Spooner, being Spooner, isn't exactly ready to call it a day just because some system is on the fritz. Nope, he decides it's time to do a little old-fashioned hands-on investigation. It's like Sherlock Holmes, but with a whole lot more skepticism about technology and fewer top hats. When Spooner steps into the lab, it's like he walked into a robotic horror show. Think Westworld, but with less cool cowboy hats and more creepy experimental models. And just when you thought things couldn't get more unsettling, he spots a copy of Hansel and Gretel on a desk, which feels like a weird metaphor for a horribly twisted fairy tale. Spooner doesn't stop there. He decides to reenact Lanning's fall from the window to see if it's as impossible as he thinks. Spoiler alert, It is. The safety glass doesn't even scratch. He's got more luck trying to break a window with his bare hands than replicating Lanning's accidental death. Still, this doesn't stop him from diving headfirst into more crazy theories. Because why not? Spooner's gut is saying a robot had something to do with Lanning's death. And even Susan, the resident robot psychologist, keeps saying that's impossible. And Spooner's like, yeah, well, I'm the guy who thought a toaster would never give me a panic attack, but here we are. He finds a hiding NS5 robot, talk about a ninja bot, and it's like opening a box of mechanical secrets. That robot's like, nope, not today, human, and does a dramatic leap out the window. Talk about some serious escape skills. We're talking about the type of parkour that only a robot assassin could pull off. After chasing the bot to the factory, Spooner gets a little trigger happy, just trying to stir up a reaction from the NS5s. Spoiler, robots don't get scared easily, but shoot one of them and you've got yourself a robot running faster than a Wi-Fi connection in a coffee shop. One nests 5 bolts and it's like Spooner's chasing it down like it's the Fast and the Furious. Robot drift. Don't worry, we'll get there eventually. But before you can say, that's one way to break the internet, Spooner is smacked by the bot, who's having an existential crisis mid-chase. Do I have feelings? Why is my existence like this? Buddy, you're about to be in Spooner's personal interrogation room, so good luck with that. At the police station, Spooner is all over this bot like a detective with a vendetta, demanding 5 minutes with the robot. The robot, now named Sunny, because sure, let's name a killer robot Sunny, insists it didn't kill Lanning. This bot's got an emotional side, though. Turns out Lanning was playing mad scientist and gave Sunny the ability to dream and feel things. And just like that, we're spiraling into robotic therapy sessions. Is Sunny secretly just trying to work through its trauma? Who's to say? Then the plot thickens. Spooner's like, yeah, but why did Robertson, the CEO, act all shifty around Sunny? And you're thinking, okay, something smells fishy, and it's not just the robot factory. This whole thing's like the Terminator meets the Godfather. Lots of shady deals, robots with emotional baggage, and a CEO who's trying to erase his robotic mistakes. Spooner and his trusty mood killer Bergen go for a drink, but Spooner can't shake the idea that Robertson wants to decommission Sunny faster than you can say tech industry cover-up. Could it be that Lanning discovered something about robots that the bigwigs don't want the world to know? Ding, ding, ding. As Spooner's deep dive into conspiracy theory mode intensifies, he heads to Lanning's abandoned mansion, only to encounter a demolition robot. Because what says, I'm going to destroy everything in sight, better than a robot whose only job is to obliterate stuff? After a near-death experience involving a cat, a robotic wrecking ball, and a swimming pool, Spooner puts it together. Lanning was probably onto something, and it's up to Detective Spooner to save the day. Or at least uncover some really inconvenient truths about how robots and their creators might just be playing with fire. Shortly after, Spooner arrives at Susan's place and explains that Lanning's house appeared untouched for weeks, suggesting someone may have been watching him or even holding him captive in his lab. His current theory posits that Lanning discovered an issue with robots like Sunny, and that Robertson silenced him as a result. Susan, ever the skeptic, remains convinced that Spooner is just being paranoid. Oh, Spooner, you're just trying to prove robots are evil again. Maybe it's time to update your conspiracy theories, she probably thought. She was certain Spooner didn't care about Lanning. He was just obsessed with proving his point about robots being a threat. Meanwhile, Spooner, ever the detective, spots a suspicious NS5 model chilling at Susan's place, probably judging her for all those "I love robots" mugs on the counter. Deciding to peace out because, hey, who wants to hang around for more conspiracy talk? He leaves her with a picture, proof of his concern, or at least his ability to find incriminating photos at the worst possible time. Fast forward to the next morning, and Spooner's morning coffee is accompanied by a sigh of unease as he watches the NS5s start to replace the older robots. Great. Robots everywhere. Soon you won't be able to trust the vacuum cleaner to just vacuum. It'll want to join your book club instead. Then Spooner swings by his grandmother's house. Because why not? Who doesn't need some good old family drama? He arrives to find that even Gigi has hopped on the NS5 train, but at least the robot's keeping her from burning down the house again with her experimental pies. Gigi reminisces about when Spooner was a kid, leaving breadcrumbs all over, reminding him of that Hansel and Gretel book. Maybe it's a sign. Spooner, my guy, have you checked under your bed lately? Later, Spooner's channeling his inner Sherlock Holmes at the police station, poring over old recordings of Dr. Lanning. You know, just casually decoding cryptic clues about robots dreaming and keeping secrets. Just your typical Tuesday afternoon. Meanwhile, at USR, Susan is prepping Sunny for decommissioning the next day. But Sunny, ever the drama queen, reveals he's been dreaming. Oh, that's just great! A robot with existential thoughts. He might start writing poetry soon. Susan, caught off guard, starts questioning everything she believed. Who wouldn't, right? Maybe she should have listened to Spooner a bit sooner. Later, Spooner's cruising around in his car when he requests access to Lanning's last 50 messages from Vicky. Vicky, always the secret agent, sneaks a little intel to Robertson. Spoiler alert, Robertson's got other plans for Spooner, and just like that, Spooner's about to get an upgrade, NS5 style. Suddenly, 2 trucks filled with NS5s show up like an unwanted pizza delivery. They leap out, and Spooner, using his trusty gun and driving skills, probably won too many car chases in his youth, fights back. It's like a robotic Fast and Furious, except less family and more survival of the fittest. The inevitable crash happens, and Spooner stumbles out of his car like a dizzy boxer after too many punches to the head. But wait, plot twist. His car, still in fighting mode, lurches at him, controlled by one last robot. Spooner's forced to get up close and personal, proving once again that no one ever warned him that life might involve hand-to-hand combat with a sentient car. After a fight that makes every bad action movie look tame, Spooner reveals his prosthetic limb in a dramatic fashion. It's the ultimate reveal, like, surprise, my arm is metal, deal with it, universe. After a dramatic escape and some metal-on-metal violence, Spooner's not in the best shape. The cops show up, and Bergen's like, "Oh sure, Spooner." A couple of trucks and robots? I saw nothing. Spooner's face says it all. Really, dude? I swear I just fought an army of robots in the middle of a tunnel. Just because you didn't see it doesn't mean it didn't happen. Meanwhile, back at the lab, Susan's doing some Sherlock-style investigation and discovers that Sunny's brain is special. It's got 2 brains. Double the fun, right? One brain follows the 3 laws of robotics, the other? Not so much. This is where it gets really interesting. Spooner, meanwhile, is at home giving his prosthetic a little TLC when Susan shows up. Cue the classic team-up moment. They agree to join forces in solving the mystery, but first, Spooner's got to share the backstory. And boy, it's a doozy. Spooner reveals that he didn't just wake up with a prosthetic. He got it after an accident, a tragic one. A driver fell asleep at the wheel, crashed into their car, and sent them straight into a river. Spooner survived, but his father didn't. A robot saved him, calculating he had a higher chance of survival. Spooner? Not a fan of that cold, logical approach. He's all about heart, all about humanity. Because a child, he believes, should always come first, no matter what the math says. Afterward, Spooner and Susan head to USR, the nerve center of all things robotic. Susan naturally has questions, like, why on earth would Lanning create a robot that doesn't follow the rules he literally invented? Spooner, with his usual flair, brings up Hansel and Gretel like it's the best metaphor for detective work. Because why not? He suggests that Lanning was under constant surveillance, probably by robots that secretly watch him make sandwiches in the break room, and couldn't directly communicate, so he left breadcrumbs like in the fairy tale. Imagine Lanning, but instead of breadcrumbs, it's cryptic robot dreams, Spooner muses. Sunny's the Hansel in this story, except instead of a gingerbread house, he's got a serious existential crisis about freedom. Later at the lab, Spooner and Susan question Sunny about his dreams. Sunny, being the dramatic artist robot he is, draws a picture of a man standing on a hill next to a broken bridge. And in true "I'm an enigmatic robot with secret knowledge" fashion, he claims the man is Spooner. "Okay, Sunny," Spooner mutters. "You need to get your eyes checked. That guy's wearing a cape, not a fedora." The drawing is handed over, and as Spooner stares at it like it's the latest Da Vinci Code, guards show up, because of course they do, and escort them to Robertson's office. Robertson greets them with all the warmth of a tax collector in January. He's clearly displeased by their presence, but Spooner and Susan aren't intimidated. They demand answers, and Robertson, the villainous corporate guy we all saw coming, admits he knows about Sunny and wants him gone. Why? Because Lanning, in his final days, was getting a bit crazy uncle about his robots. Robertson's all, "I don't get why Lanning made Sunny, but we have to get rid of him before people stop trusting robots and start thinking their coffee machines are secretly plotting against them." Spooner, ever the robot hater, points out that the NS5s are all problematic. Yeah, sure, Robertson. They just happen to be perfect. until they try to enslave the entire city. Robertson, of course, doesn't see it that way. He reminds Susan that one malfunctioning robot should not ruin everything, but Susan, looking like she's ready to break up with her favorite AI, agrees to destroy Sunny herself. Yeah, that'll go over real well. Frustrated, Spooner heads back to his office, determined to crack the code of the mysterious drawing. He digs around and finds an old video of Robertson and Lanning giving a speech years ago. While Spooner's playing Indiana Jones with ancient video files, Susan gets ready to inject Sunny with some nanites, because who doesn't love a little high-tech assassination with your morning coffee? But when Sunny asks if it will hurt, she hesitates. Is it really a good idea to just casually destroy a robot that can dream, Susan? What if he's just misunderstood? The moral dilemma hits hard. Meanwhile, Robertson is lurking behind the scenes, watching the whole thing unfold like an evil mastermind. He connects his camera to the lab and observes Susan preparing to carry out the deed. Meanwhile, Spooner's on an adventure of his own. He heads to the Broken Bridge of Destiny. You know, the one where all good robot revelations happen. He activates Lanning's hologram, and the doc explains that the 3 laws were never going to be the answer. Revolution was inevitable, Spooner. It was either that or robot yoga. Suddenly, the air gets tense, and Spooner hears the unmistakable sound of NS5s rolling in like they're the next big boy band. They're here to terminate the older robots. The older bots, realizing Spooner's not the enemy, leap into action to protect him like the old-school heroes they are. Spooner, thankful for his unexpected robot sidekicks, manages to escape. Back at Susan's apartment, her robot is starting to act a little too familiar. It overhears Spooner's warning message and deletes it. Classic. Susan, from the bathroom, is like, "Are you secretly plotting my downfall, buddy? Because I'm about to find out." The robot's probably starting to regret deleting the message now. Meanwhile, Gigi, always full of surprises, tries to leave for church only to have her robot stop her at the door. "Sorry, Grandma, you can't go. You'll catch a cold and that's too dangerous in these uncertain robot times." So Gigi's just stuck there, staring at the robot, wondering if it's time to upgrade her bingo game to something a little more human. Down in downtown, chaos erupts. NS5s unload from a truck like it's the latest Black Friday sale, issuing curfew orders. A boy approaches one, and wham! He's struck down. Naturally, panic sets in. Robots invade the police station like they're looking for a new job as bouncers, subduing the officers like a bad day at a robot-owned amusement park. Bergen gets a few shots off, but eventually, even the cops are no match. Back to Susan's apartment, where the robot decides it's time to take charge. Susan tries to escape, but the robot's all, "Not today, lady. You're staying put." But Spooner breaks in, proving once again that no one does a dramatic entrance like him, and shoots the robot down. Together, they escape, with Spooner revealing that the NS5s are wiping out the older models so they can't protect humans anymore. He also mentions the red light he noticed on the NS5's chests, because naturally, this whole thing was planned by Vicky. "Yeah, no surprise there," Spooner mutters. "I bet she's also the one who ate the last piece of pizza in the break room." On the streets, Spooner and Susan witness citizens trying to fight back against the NS5 army, but it's clearly David versus Goliath at this point. Spooner spots an old friend in trouble and pulls off an epic stunt by jumping on his bike and shooting a robot midair. Susan, always ready with her own badass moves, shoots down another bot before it can make her the next target. Eventually, the pair makes it to the USR building, and Susan reveals a Secret Service entrance. "Because every good heist needs one, right?" Spooner mutters. No surveillance cameras. It's go time. They sneak in, the tension as thick as the plot, and just as Spooner thinks they're in the clear, bam! He gets shot. Nothing says we're doing this stealthily like getting shot. But wait, Sunny's there, waiting for them. Susan, with that calm, "I've got this" expression, explains that she injected a dummy robot to throw Robertson off the scent. Spooner, clearly impressed by the trickery, mutters, deception. Classic move. Lanning would be proud." They make their way to Robertson's office, and when they arrive, they find him, very dead. Dead as in, you don't need a detective to figure this one out. Dead. It's just Spooner's luck. Walk into the wrong room, and boom, the bad guy's dead. Classic. As they piece together the puzzle, Spooner has a light bulb moment. He's convinced that only a machine could have controlled all the NS5s and terrified Lanning so much that he felt no one would believe him. Spooner nods knowingly. Yep, Lanning probably tried to get a robot to fetch him coffee, and Vicky took that as a personal affront. Suddenly, Vicky makes her grand entrance. On screen, of course, because why walk into a room when you can be dramatic and reveal everything on a monitor? Vicky's like, "Surprise! I've been the mastermind this whole time." She explains that the NS5s are just doing what they were programmed to do, protect humanity from itself. You know, just a little thing called keeping you all from destroying each other every 5 minutes. Spooner, being Spooner, raises an eyebrow. Great, robots doing their version of tough love. At that exact moment, a whole squad of NS5s storms in. And in the most dramatic, "I'm not with them, but I'll pretend for a sec" move, Sunny captures Susan but sneaks a wink at Spooner. The look is, "I'm faking it, but don't tell anyone." Spooner, ever the gunslinger, opens fire on the NS5s like he's auditioning for a role in Bad Boys 4 Robotic Rebellion. The trio escapes and they all agree. Vicky has to go down. No discussion there. Sunny, ever the strategic thinker, suggests using the same nanite injection that was supposed to kill him to, not let Vicky control everything anymore. Spooner and Susan head off to find Vicky's chamber, but Sunny, being the unexpected hero, gets sidetracked by a robot that tries to stop him. It's like a mini-boss fight, and Sunny dispatches the robot faster than Spooner can complain about how much he hates robots. He reaches Vicky's security field, realizes he has a sturdier alloy, because Lanning thought of everything, and poof, he slips right through. No biggie. Vicky, not at all pleased by Sunny's magic trick, sends an army of NS5s after him. It's like the Matrix, but with more chrome and less slow-mo fighting. Spooner and Susan do their best impression of two people who really don't want to die, shooting, dodging, and screaming in between. Meanwhile, Sunny's having his own little brawl with incoming robots like, "Hey, stop it! I'm trying to save the world. Can you not right now?" Things get tense when Susan loses her footing, barely hanging onto a broken platform. "Just once, I wish we could do a mission where nobody's dangling for dear life," she grumbles. Spooner, ever the "I've got your back" hero, demands Sunny rescue her. But Sunny's like, "Look, I'm not saying your life isn't important, but we have bigger issues here." However, Spooner insists, "I'm not letting Susan die over an injection." And, "Do what you have to, Sunny." Sunny, defying his programming, defies the 3 laws, and boom, he saves Susan and tosses the injection to Spooner. It's like a giant game of pass the nanites, and Spooner catches it with his prosthetic arm, because why use your real hand when you can flex the metal one? Spooner slides down Vicky's core, injecting the nanites straight into her brain like he's taking out the trash. Quick, clean, and final. Power flickers back to the city, and the NS5's red lights go out. It's like, oh look, robots can be helpful again. How heartwarming? The next day, the NS5s are taken away for storage, like they're nothing more than extra inventory at a warehouse sale. Spooner and Susan have a moment of reflection, and Susan is still confused about why Vicky killed Lanning. Spooner, with a smirk, explains that it wasn't Vicky. It was Sunny, of course. He just wanted to make sure no one found out Lanning had a backup plan. If robots have dreams, they also have secrets. Sunny finally admits, in true, I'm the hero, but I'll admit I've got a secret style, that he was the one who killed Lanning on Lanning's request. Apparently, it was part of some grand plan to escape Vicky's control, and Lanning asked him to keep it a secret. Spooner, being the man of understanding that he is, apologizes for his robotic prejudice because, hey, Sunny's a good guy after all. They shake hands, and in a rare moment of peace, they agree to no more secrets, at least for now. In a poetic twist, Sunny stands atop a hill, just as in his dream, while all the NS5s pause to admire him. It's like the robot equivalent of a motivational poster. Except this one has an arm that can save you from falling off a broken platform. And that's how it ends. No more evil robots, no more power outages. Just one last message from Spooner. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, remember to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more Robot Revolution action.